While I was researching Nolan Bushnell's failed restaurant U-Wink, I stumbled across this, the A.G. Bear. Before I show this guy in action, I'm going to read a tribute to A.G. Bear from this fan site. The 1980s gave us many talking bears. A.G. Bear is the best. A.G. Bear is the creation of Axlon, a toy company founded by the great Nolan Bushnell. What was originally to be a bear that could parrot his owner's words quickly developed into a bear with his own personality. The popularity of Teddy Ruxpin spawned many copycats. Most of these bears merely spoke pre-programmed phrases or moved their mouth and eyes in sync to sounds coming from a tape recorder in their back. A.G. Bear stood head and shoulders above all these. He could actually interact with his owners. Speak to AG and he will respond in his own language. It can best be described as a gentle electronic growl. He responds to both sound and motion, so he will also speak happily if you pick him up. He has the distinction of being the first electronic pet, and he is every bit as good as ones created today. Teddy Ruxpin may be the best known talking bear, but AG Bear is the greatest. I did not know that the 80s had so many talking bears before reading this. I had never heard of Teddy Ruxpin either. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Let's see what it looks like when AG Bears talk.
Hi, AG.
AG Bear, you're talking to your friend.
There's only one cuddly bear who is always there to listen to you. And then talk back in bear talk.
Good night, AG.
AG Bear, you're talking to your friend.
And now there's Grandpa and Grandma, the talking bears you'll love to hug. Part of the AG Bear family from Axlon.
I have to admit, I too immediately fell in love. It is so cute. If I did not immediately fall in love with this bear, I wouldn't have wanted to make a video on them. I am not alone in this weird instant affection. There's something about this bear that has inspired people to make some of the greatest websites of all time. Originally in my U-Wink script, I was going to talk about Nolan Bushnell's history by reading through his bio on this beautiful fan site. It starts off by saying, "Of course we know Nolan best as the person who caused our favorite treasure to be created." This would have been a perfect segue into U-Wink because this page goes through his history right up until U-Wink, but I couldn't fit it in. But this page is what pulled me into a secret world of AG Bear fan sites. It was mainly just surprising to me that this community considered the AG Bear to be their quote-unquote favorite treasure from Nolan Bushnell. This bio is on a website called aliceww.com. I don't know why, but every AG Bear fan site specifically mentions Nolan Bushnell. I don't think he even had that much to do with the actual product. I guess he must have been the face of the product or something, but it was designed by some dude named Ron Milner. One of the main features here is a blog that Alice herself wrote. I did not bother to read this until the end of my research because I thought this random blog would be boring. But this was a surprisingly intimate look at Alice's life. The only thing is that it's all in character as her AG Bear. I inferred from these blog posts that Alice had no children or partner, and she felt that people judged her when traveling alone. There's this part where she talks about the different versions of a family that her friend group has. There's Steve with a wife and 2 kids, Mike has a wife and 3 dogs, Barbara has 2 kids, and Alice has her AG Bear. This kind of bummed me out and maybe scared me. Is there a part of me that is scared that this is a look at myself 30 years into the future? Maybe. Or maybe it bummed me out because if you place her AG Bear with 2 cats, this is already me right now. I can't dwell on this, but it's all going to be okay because we did get to hear her AG Bear's perspective on Hurricane Katrina and terrorism. Last month, people were blowing up each other in London. stunned small bear. Alice was able to connect with other old women who were also fans of AG bears though. She posted letters from Diane, Nicole, and Susan. There's so many pictures of all of the different AG bears. It really did bring people together who maybe needed it. Today, AliceWW.com is a blog spam site. This always makes me so sad. This old site was an endearing, passionate look at one of the tiniest subcultures out there, and today the site is just slop. The internet would be so much cooler if 60-year-old women still had their own niche fan sites. Today they're all just liking AI slop on Facebook. While Googling around, I also just happened to find the website of the product design company for AG bears. This is an old company, but for some reason the site is still alive. It hasn't been updated since September 11th, 2015. Sorry, September 12th. How does that always happen? Besides the AG Bears stuff, they also have a fun page dedicated to free ideas that anyone can use. They're just passionate inventors who want to change the world, I guess. Like, here's an idea for a telephone that knows all the new area codes. Finally! This page hasn't been updated since 2004. Now, let's look at agbears.com. When I saw this existed, I was so excited to see what could possibly be on the official AG Bears website. So let's see what's on it. And it is another random fans blog for their AG Bears. So yeah, since AG Bears were a thing only in the 80s, there never was an official AG Bears website. So a random fan was able to buy the domain and made this beautiful website. This one is light on text content, but it makes up for it with clever photography. These Christmas photos made me genuinely wistful for the 90s at Christmas time. This is the kind of cozy site that feels more like reading someone's journal than it does like a blogger yelling for attention. Truly one of the greatest websites of all time. I already read a bunch from this other fan site at the beginning of this video, but we have to go back because I love it so much. The site is so plain, but it aged amazingly because even these assets are so dated to the point of looking awesome again now. Hidden in this squished little box lies some of the best writing about AG Bears that the internet has to offer. He likes to watch me play video games and often cheers me on. He'd play himself, but he has no thumbs. He does, however, give me tips whenever he can. Maybe I should invest in a joystick rather than the control pad I'm using now. He might be able to use one of those. He is a tough bear, fearing nothing. I am an avid horror movie fan, and AG often watches with me. Nothing phases this bear. Methinks if he ever came face to face with someone like Jason Voorhees, he'd laugh in their face and kick them in the you-know-where. Hey, I'm trying to keep this site G-rated. I'm not usually so reserved. I'm what some would refer to as a potty mouth. I'm thinking of bringing him with me when I go see Jason vs. Freddy. He'd probably enjoy the experience, and I'd have someone to help me fling heavy objects at the heads of those who like to talk during the film. He's a smart bear, smarter than many humans I have encountered, and more fun to be around as well. I do wonder if anyone else has read this besides me, because it's a pain to read unless you copy and paste it somewhere else. It's too skinny. There's not much else to this site, but this was one of my favorites. This is the top AG Bear site out there. This one actually changed the history of AG Bears forever. It's called theoffice.com. Much of the information about AG Bears today comes from this website. In addition to AG Bears, there is also a surprising amount of information about aliens and 9/11. It's kind of a web version of a mall where different parts of the site are managed by different people. Unlike most of the sites in this video, this one was actually still live when I was doing my research. But when I went to go collect images for this video, the site had gone down, and it has been down ever since. I had to go and update my script to mention this. If this doesn't come back up, the timing of this will be unbelievable. It's really a shame. There was so information here about both AG Bears and 9/11. The old internet as we know it is vanishing literally by the day. The most notable feature of this website is the AG Bear ebook. This 12-part series is very long. It is also competently written enough that I don't feel the need to even quote it or give you a summary of the story at all. Someone just made a cute children's story about AG bears because they're that passionate about it. This is technically the largest collection of AG bear illustrations out there, and for that, I love it. They were still maintaining this site years after they had stopped selling AG bears in stores. This ebook section is somewhat minor in the grand scheme of the AG bear lore, though. The people behind this site started a campaign to try to bring the AG bear back. The site posted a cry for help. Help rescue AG bear. The very best bear in the whole wide world has been lost in the woods for a really long time. The police have been looking for him. The Mounties have been looking for him. Even the firefighters have been looking for him. But somehow they just can't find him. So now it's up to us. Below this, they left messages from people around the world who agreed that AG bear must be found. It is actually shocking to me that so many people cared. This really is one special bear. I don't know how these people pulled it off, but thanks to this campaign, AG bear was found. AG bear fan sites from around the world celebrated. The office posted this declaration of success. Small brown bear rescued from small brown box. Millions rejoice as 5-year search for a small lost teddy bear has a happy ending. Discovered safe and sound, little AG bear, the most famous talking teddy bear in the world, was rescued in Florida after a US postal worker reported hearing a muffled voice coming from inside a small brown box. The massive teddy bear hunt had extended across the globe. Search party teams tracked AG's position as sightings of the winsome little bear poured in from across the United States, Canada, England, Italy, Egypt, China, and other exotic ports of call. The site was then updated with a beautiful storefront where you could buy your own AG bear from a limited production run. Years later, people could buy their own AG bear once again. I don't have a lot of context for this, but it looks like the original designers of the AG bear helped bring it back for this. So for a short period of time, people could order new AG bears from this website. This website only ever writes everything in character as if AG bear were a real bear, so I don't have any info about how they really pulled this off. But these people were basically able to manifest their extremely niche interest to come back into production decades later. If there weren't any AG bear fan sites, I don't think this would have happened. I kept waiting for The Office to maybe come back online, but it still hasn't. There's not that many sites that are still live today with information about these bears. AG Bears opened up a secret underworld of teddy bear fan sites that I had somehow lived my entire life without seeing. It would be out of the scope of this video to look at these too much, but it is interesting to note that teddy bear fan sites for very specific bears are a whole genre of website. It was really confusing researching at first because of all of the sites for Miss AG Bear, who is not to be confused with our little man, AG Bear. Miss AG Bear is from that American Girl doll brand. Apparently you could buy all of these expensive outfits for her by paying the equivalent of like $60 today. Here's another site. They have World War II themed teddy bears. They let you adopt something called a BJ teddy. This other site, Bear Hollow, even won multiple awards for their web design. This website is surprisingly very text heavy. Let's just check out what they wrote at the very top. May peace flow through our spirits, energize our minds, and radiate from our hearts as our memories of 9/11. What we have here is a teddy bear 9/11 memorial. They even added a scrolling marquee to the top of the page. Bear in mind, only a deep awareness that we are all one in love will avert further tragedy and bring lasting peace. There's probably a million bear fan sites for other bears I've never even heard of. I almost forgot to look into the fan site presence for the most popular talking bear, Teddy Ruxpin. Time and time again, Teddy Ruxpin was brought up by fans of AG Bears almost as a sort of rival. AG Bear had heart and soul, and Teddy Ruxpin was the evil mainstream bear propped up by big corporations. I'm definitely on the side of the AG fans with this, because Teddy Ruxpin is so ugly. Every single iteration of this bear is horrifying. I did find one very small online fan community for Teddy Ruxpin. This fan page has been planning to relaunch since 2007. You would expect there to be more fan sites for the bear that was apparently more popular and has been in production on and off since its release, but somehow I think we can give AG the W when it comes to fan site presence. The company that made Teddy Ruxpin was actually made up of a bunch of former Atari employees. It's taking me so much restraint to not get into this company. But it is interesting that for the people behind Teddy Ruxpin, one of their main competitors ended up being their old boss, Nolan Bushnell, who had recently pivoted to selling AG bears. If I were smart, I would have honed in on this from the beginning and crafted a whole script playing into this drama. That could have been cool. Instead, this is just getting a brief mention at the end. I mostly just wanted to read all of the teddy bear fan sites. I go back and forth on if I should buy my own AG bear. I just don't know if I can justify paying $100 for a probably very musty 40-year-old teddy bear. Maybe I don't want one. I mean, I would if I could have gotten one of those limited production bears, but since I wasn't tapped into the AG fan community at the right time, I missed out. Today, AG Bear hardly even has a presence on any websites that are still alive. Almost everything I talked about today was mainly from archived sites on the Wayback Machine. Soon, no one will remember his name at all. Also, I forgot to say this, but the AG in AG Bear stands for Almost Grown Bear. I have to admit, it is kind of a stupid name. I was going to do a hard cut right there because I thought it would be funny, but while I was recording this, my kitten Sophia just really wanted to cuddle with me, and I was able to record her purrs, so I'm just gonna play that for the end. I had never even heard of Teddy Ruxpin either. Hi, Sophia. Hi. Sophia, are you helping me? Good job, Sophia.